All right. Hello, everybody. This is our Cognos Analytics session 2. My name is Elena, and I'm your Cognos Analytics System Administrator. All right. So here is the agenda for tonight's session. We're going to talk about the dashboard. We're going to talk about the stories, and we're going to talk about the fun part, group work. Yes. And I'm going to show you some sample dashboards and some sample stories that you can look at to get some ideas. All right. And also we're going to do some question and answers. All right. So what did we work on when we had our first session? We worked at claims and weather data that looks like this, right? This is a partial screenshot, and it's the same data set that was used in a video that hopefully all of you watched. So basically, the data tracks information about the customers, the countries they're from, the state they're from, right? And also the type of insurance coverage that you have. And based on that, what type of claims they have and the total claim amount, right? So this is what you're going to start with on your assignment 4 is going to be the continuation of 3. You are asked to take a screenshot of the data that you're working with, right? Then you're asked to summarize what data pre-processing was done on your data. This is exactly what I'm going to do right now, right? So we looked at the data module, we looked at the data pre-processing summary. This is what we did last time. We created an embedded filter that allowed us to remove the rows immediately. We removed the rows that don't have the effective to date, right? We filter out the data rows. In other words, if there is no effective to date, maybe the individual does not have a coverage at the moment. So we just filtered them out, right? Then we created a selectable filter that allows us to create visualizations for the small claim type for the personal vehicle size, right? Then we handled the missing values, right? For the numeric columns, we replaced the missing values with the column average. And then for the claim reason, it's a categorical column. So if it's missing a value, we replaced it with something called other, right? And some of this I demonstrated when we had the last session, but this part here, the last part here, it was demonstrated in one of the videos in the playlist, right? And the playlist, the link to the playlist is available in the classroom, right? So, and we also created, well, let me go and let me show you, let me go in the actual data to show you what I'm talking about here. So here is a user, right? Demo user, and this is a data module. Notice that the recent section here, right? It shows what I initially had open. And this is a data module that we worked on last time, right? So this is what was done in here. This is a filter. It lists, it appears as if it was a column, but it's not a column. It's a selectable filter that I can specify if I want to filter my data by personal policy type, right? For the small vehicle. Now here I created the data group. I binned the column called number of policies, right? I created the data group in here. Then I had my annual premium. Some data was missing a value for annual premium, and I replaced the missing value with a column average, right? Here, this is a calculation that I did, right? And I set this column to be average. So see this, I can go edit calculation, I can see. So that column is a calculated column, and it's an average total claim amount based on the coverage type, right? So that's what it is. So basically, in the beginning, when you start assignment 4, you're gonna do the summary of data pre-processing that was done as part of your assignment 3. Assignment 4 is a continuation of 3, right? So, so basically, in this slide, what I'm doing, I'm just summarizing here what was done, right? And also, another quick reminder of what we did last time is we worked with data explorations, right? We worked with data explorations. And if you look at this here, this is a data exploration. Data exploration has a set of what? Cards, right? Each visualization is a separate card. Notice here, am I able to change the appearance of this visualization here? No, I cannot, right? I'm stuck with the blue color. I cannot edit the title. I cannot change the fonts and etc. Right? I cannot do anything. Now, another thing is that is there any connections between visualizations? Am I able to select one data point in this visualization and make the same data point to be selected in the rest of the visualizations? No, I cannot, right? There is no relationships. I cannot add text. I cannot add shapes, right? I'm very limited to how much I can customize this, right? So let's go ahead and close this. And no, I don't want to save this. Close without saving. So what this is leading into, it's leading into today's topic called dashboards. So what is dashboard? The main purpose of the dashboard is to present your findings, right? Where data exploration, the goal was to answer certain questions about your data, but you learn something about the data, but it's not necessarily what you present your supervisor about what you learned about the data, right? So the purpose of creating a dashboard is to present insights. You have visualizations and you also have attractive layouts that you add to them. You may change how visualization appear, including the colors, right? And all of those the color, you have the editable color schemes. And also the visualizations that appear on the same tab of the dashboard are linked. What I mean by linked is that you select the data point in one visualization, and the same data point will be selected in the rest of the visualizations, as long as you used the same data source as a source to create this visualization. If the visualizations were created from different data sources, then no, but if you use the same data source to create the visualization, when you select one data point in one visualization, the same data point will be selected in all of them, right? Now, you may reuse the visualizations that you created in the exploration workspace last time. And to do that, you would need to create bookmarks. And I have a detailed video on how to use bookmarks. There is a separate detailed video on that. You may toggle between the view mode and the edit mode. So basically, if you're in the edit mode, it means that your visualizations, your dashboard is editable. View mode is a preview. It's perhaps how will the end user look like at it, let's say, if you will, right? The end user can see, interact with it, but cannot edit. So that's a view mode, right? Now, this is somewhat similar to data exploration workspace, where you may create navigation paths. You may use the built-in assistant, right? And you may add calculations. However, that's what you need to keep in mind, that any calculations that you add to your dashboard won't be available in another dashboard where you use the same data source, right? So if you want the calculation to be available in all the dashboards that you create from the same data source, you need to add the calculation to the data module. Anything like navigation paths, any calculations column, anything like that. If you want it to be available in all dashboards and all stories that you create from the same data source, you need to add it to the data module. But if it's a calculation that you want to be available only for a single dashboard, then you may create it at the dashboard, right? So here are the differences. And in assignment 4 does have the questions, something along this line, right? A lot of the questions are answered. A lot of your assignment questions will be answered in the session. I'm not gonna say, hey, here is the answer to question 5, here's the answer to question 7, but I will answer as much as possible, okay, without labeling the question number, if you will. Okay, so here we talked about the advantages of dashboards, and I'll show you how to create one. But so to create new dashboards, there are multiple ways. The way I would usually do is this. I know which data set I want to use, right? So this is data module. I can access this multiple way. It's gonna appear in my recent. It's also gonna appear on the my content, right? It's in here, claims and weather data module. And notice that in my content, I can have folders, right? And I can organize stuff in a folder. But here it is. This is a data module that I want to use as a source. This is data module that I want to use as a source for my dashboard. So I click on this context menu and I want to create dashboard, right? This is one way. Okay. Now I'm presented with the options. And I believe in one of the slides, I explained to you what these options mean. This is just for your information. So there are two types of dashboards, tab dashboards and infographic. Infographic is a single page. It's a single long page. All visualizations will be put on that page. Now, what is a downside of infographics? Is that your visualizations are not split into tabs. Well, sometimes you want to split a topic into subtopic, if you will, and each tab you want to devote a specific subtopic, right? Like for example, on one tab you want to show the drivers of total claim amount. On the other tab you want to show perhaps average visualizations for average claim amount by vehicle type, etc. Right? So you have different subtopics where you want to cover in a separate tab, perhaps, right? And then if you have a if you have a tab dashboard, you may apply the filter to a single tab, right? Or you may apply filter to all tabs. If it's an infographic, if you apply the filter, it's easier to one individual visualization, right? Or everything. Now, also, I'll show you there is a little shortcut because you have to create a dashboard and then you need to create a story. But the dashboard can be saved as a story only if you're using the tab layout, right? If you're using the tab, then if you're using the tab dashboard, then you can save your dashboard, you can export your dashboard to a story and you use it as a starting point for your story development. And we're gonna talk about what else you're gonna need to do, okay? Now, of course, both are interactive, both have, you may use multiple predefined templates and you may use existing visualizations and you may add new visualizations, etc., right? And you may preview some of the data that is being visualized. And they both have edit mode and view mode, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you a lot, but what it is, look, that's infographic, right? And this is a tab dashboard. We want this. Now, there are different templates here. This is a free form, right? And those are the predefined templates. The plus side of this guys here is that the visualizations will resize based on your screen resolution. So this is a plus side of this, right? And what I did for you as well, I spelled out the differences in here, right? So you can go with a free form, but you don't have a predefined design. And this will not auto scale based on the screen size, right? And you may need to scroll. That's the downside. But the other one, those are the out of the box templates. One thing to keep in mind when you select template, the more visualizations you put on a tab, the longer it could take to load. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you do have to do the demo in a room with slow internet connection, right? So just keep that in mind. But personally, I like to select 2x2, okay? So this is a 2x2 template, right? And see this, you can see these little 4 placeholders, right? And I'll show you how to use it. By default, there is one tab, but you can add tabs. To add tabs, you just click on plus in here. When you add a new tab, you may choose different layout or you may choose the same. And at any point in time, if you're not happy with the layout, you can change it. You're just gonna do, if you click here, see this, so pencil, it will let you edit the tab title. here, duplicate, and this one is to change layout. So you can change the template anytime if you want to. Okay. Now, what is this? This is a list of columns in our data, right? Here you're gonna see the list of columns. You're also gonna see this is a selectable filter, remember? We called it personal policy for small vehicle. And again, if I did not use the descriptive name, there is no way to see what this is without going back to my data module, okay? Now, similar to what you have seen before, the icon next to the column name indicates the column data type, right? All the same as you've seen. This one here, this was the standalone calculation, where you have, when you have an embedded calculation, right? It's stored as a new column, and the value is stored in each row. This is a standalone. Remember, we looked at it last time. So this is, the calculation is not stored in every row of the data, it's stored just once as a single value. And these are the navigation paths. Do you remember? This is discussed in one of the videos where we have a navigation path that consists of state, location, code, and employment status, right? This can be used in our visualizations as well. So this is just the drill down, right? So here are all of your calculations. See this? And see this is average claim amount per coverage. Everything is here for you, right? Because we defined those calculations where? In the data module. We didn't define those calculations in the data exploration, right? This was defined. I defined it in data module at least, right? So now, this is very important. Same thing. Look at this. It says new dashboard, and there's a little star. It means that I have not saved my changes, right? So I need to save the file, because if I don't save, if I get disconnected, what's gonna happen to my work? Goodbye, right? So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do save as. Where am I gonna save the work? In my content, right? And let me call it as claims, and weather dashboard. Okay. I'm gonna go save now. Well, see this, so I just saved my dashboard, right? No changes are unsaved, which means, so that's why I don't see this little asterisk here, all right? Now, what else do we see here? We see save as, see this is pencil, edit or preview. So if I click here, right now I'm in a preview mode, it means I cannot make changes to my dashboard. And then when I toggle back, I can make changes. You also have this, and you have this undo and redo buttons, right? Those are your friends, but there is a limit to how far you can undo and redo. So please be careful when you delete something. It cannot be undone, right? So now let's go back. We talked about this. We're talking about, oh, this one here, it's a bit of housekeeping, so to speak. This is the area where you define the filters that you can apply to all tab or to a single tab. But if you're not using this, you can just close this, right? It makes much easier for you to, let's say, how do you say it? Well, it's much easier to see visualizations, if you will, if you close this area when you don't use it. This is the properties. So depending on what visualization you have currently selected, right, it determines which properties you have available right now. Like, for example, here, I don't have any visualization selected, but there are also properties that apply to the page. Like, for example, here, I could change the color of my title, right? I can change the title color to top title color to red, right? Or I can do this one. This is the selected tab is gonna be, and it's gonna have a green line, right? Selection indicator color, and etc. Right? So that's just an example of what I can do. Then you can there are more settings that you can look at, okay? So these are the general setting for the canvas, for the page, and for the tabs, right? Let's save. Now, you might be wondering, how do we add visualizations here? There are multiple ways to do that. So let's see. I'm trying to go with the slides, but it won't happen at all time. But this is, okay, I just showed you this, that you may change the color, you may change the default language, right? Now, there are multiple ways to add visualizations. You can, of course, you can use pins, you can copy and paste from other exploration, right? You can use assistant, you can use library, or you can also drag and drop the fields, right? Well, like remember over here, right? Oops, these are the fields, right? And if you wanted to, you can just do this, if you can drag and drop. But look at this. You want to put your mouse right up on top of the arrow because you want this visualization to fit into this panel, right? Okay, so this is gonna be a map. By default, it's gonna try to choose visualization that it will think might be the most suitable. However, look at this, I don't see anything because I did not specify what I want to visualize, right? I did not actually specify. So this here, this is a properties. This is not what actually shows in visualization. To specify what exactly I want to see in my visualization, I have to click on this arrow and it's going to take visualization. This is called the focus mode, right? So here I'm showing four regions, right? And perhaps location color, I could do, perhaps I want to do the number of customers, right? Perhaps I want to do this. I want to color based on number of customers that I have, right? So, and then here, just to make sure, let me check the summarize. Here it is. This is count distinct. This is gonna give me the number of customers. But if I do just the count, then more likely that's gonna be the number of claims because the same customer may have more than one claim, right? I'll just do like this, keep it. Okay. Well, now once another thing to remember that right now I'm looking at, I'm in a dashboard. I'm not limited to just specifying which data I want to visualize and keep in the blue color. If blue is not the color that I want, I can go to properties and I can always change how visualization looks like, including the colors and etc. Right? I can change my colors. In here, I would need to look through the properties, right? Appearance, and I can change the fill color and etc. Right? I can change the visualization color. I would need to play around with this. It's in here, color and scheme. Okay, and you can change it. Okay, I will show you more examples. But now, so see this, I've got this. So you can do visualizations by drag and drop. You can also use pins. What is pin? Basically, if you have visualizations that you use frequently, you add it to the set. Pins is nothing but the visualizations that you use frequently, right? Like for example, I know that I want to on most of my dashboards that I do, I want to see this visualization that shows that this is the average claim amount based on a claim type, right? See this? So I have this average total claim amount, and this is based on a coverage type, right? Basic, extended, etc. And this is a claim reason. This is a crosstab. If I know that I'm going to be using this type of visualization all the time, then I'm going to put it in a pin, and then I just drag and drop. I just add a pin, right? So, and well, let me show you how to add pins. So let's go back here in the welcome page. and I can go to the, right now I'm in the my content, and I'm gonna go to here, data exploration, right? Remember, this is what we did last time. And I know that I'm gonna be doing something a lot, like this is what, in fact, you're gonna do this. You have your drivers, right? Don't you have your driver analysis here? This is your driver analysis from last time. And suppose that this is something that I want to use everywhere in a lot of dashboards that I create. This is what I do. See this? This is called a pin. I click here. When I click here, this little shortcut, right, it will be added to my list of pins. So this is a list of pins. I click here, and this is the same list of pins that I'm going to see in any files, in any visualizations files that I open now, any exploration or any dashboard or any of the story, right? So let's go back. So to go back to dashboards that I had open, I'm not using the browser back button. Instead, I'm using this to navigate. I'm going to the dashboard now, and I want to use that visualization that I pinned. Again, I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna drag and drop, okay? This is how you're going to do it in your assignment, right? You want to reuse the data modules that you created last time, right? And you want to add them to your dashboard. So you need to create a pin, and then you add a pin here, okay? Now, suppose that I did not want this to be on my first tab. I want to move it to to my other tab, right? Well, I believe the keys should work. The cut page should work the way you would normally cut in Windows. Oops, no. See, no. To move this to another tab, you would actually have to go in here, and you would have to add this pin here. You would have to do this. But Jesus, I already added twice, right? I added it twice, but did I actually recreate this visualization? No, right? I can edit as many times as I need without the need to recreate it. And I can delete, Jesus, if I don't need it, I delete. But if I can edit to any tab as many times as I need to, and I don't need to recreate visualization. That's the whole idea, right? So here, this is a map, right? It just picks visualization. If you drag and drop the field, it's gonna just pick visualization, whatever, based on the data type. It just gonna do based on what it thinks, you know. Now, I also can add the visualization from scratch, right? Like I can go into here, and I can say, for example, I want the pie chart. I just drag and drop an empty pie chart, and now I need to specify what I want. Like, for example, I can say that, well, let's see what I want to stick with here. So here I'm doing the state. Okay, let's stick with the state then. I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna find my state, right? And if I don't see it right away, I can type here, right? So this is a state, right? So what I'll do now is I'm gonna drag and drop. The state is gonna be the segment, and then in here, I think it's a customer. Customer, it's going to be the slice. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna show me, this now shows me the pie chart, now shows me the number of people, the number of people who have insurance in each state, right? So here I have list of states. Let me minimize it. So this is how it looks like. But wait a minute, right now I can play with the properties for the pie chart. Like, for example, I click here, and for the pie chart, you can change the color. You can also specify if you want to show the legend, and I do want to show the legend. right? Now for the chart type, you can say, okay, I want to show the labels, but I don't want to show the numbers. I want to show the percentages. You can do that. And then also, this is you can specify the variations that you want. Like here, I can specify the radius. So here it will make my chart look like a donut, right? The properties that I see are based on the properties that I see are based on the visualizations that I'm looking at. And remember this will take visualization into a focus mode, right? And when I'm in a focus mode, I may change property. I may change what I see. If you see that little red asterisk, it means that the slot is required. You need to specify the field or something. Or if you don't, you're not going to be able to build visualization. Okay? So this is a by state. And also, if I wanted to, I can use an assistant, and I had a video on assistant, right? So you can also use an assistant. Like for example, if you type data, it's going to show you what data you have available. Remember, this is my data, and I can click here, and then I can do this. So this is a visualization, right? I've got a bunch of visualizations in here. I can just find what I need, and I can just do this. If I do this, right, this will do it. I can add my visualizations this way, okay? Now, suppose that if I don't quite like what it shows, like for example, I don't like that it shows monthly premium auto. So I can just remove this column, but see now I don't see anything because the bubble is a required column, right? So perhaps I want to do the state, right? And radius is gonna be the average claim amount by state, perhaps. I'll just leave it as is, okay? So I've got the state in here, state here, right? So this is a first step. And let me show you what I meant by selecting one data point. Watch right now. So this is a Missouri. I click here, I click on Missouri. I selected one data point in here, and the same data point gets selected in all of my visualizations. See this visualization here got filtered. So it shows only Missouri data. And this bubble here, see this only Missouri is selected, right? And same thing should be here. Okay, now, how does it know? If you look like here, this shows the widget connections. All widgets belong to one group right now, right? So they're all connected. What I could also do is I could break the connection, right? Like suppose that I wanted to compare the states, right? So let me do something now. I'm gonna close this, right? So this will close the grouping, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna delete this, and I want to perhaps I want to do this. Let's duplicate this, right? So in here, this is an option to duplicate. I duplicated this. Now I'm gonna move this up here, and I'll show you why what I'm doing could be useful. Oops. So basically, this is something that will take patience. When you move it, you want to make sure that your cursor is on top of the arrow, right? You want to make sure that your cursor is on top of the arrow because you want this to fit into the slot. Okay, so now you see that you may think, hey, this is the same. Well, I'll show you what I'm talking about now. Now it will be easier to see. Let me see. This is a connection, right? So if I select one data point in one, right? So I selected Missouri. This will be adjusted based on Missouri's data. here, Missouri is selected too. And in this chart here, I have adjustment based on Missouri. Now, suppose that I want to do a comparison. I want to compare Missouri numbers with Iowa numbers, right? Then what I'll have to do is I'll need to break this connection. I can select, first of all, I have to select this, right? I select this widget here, and I need to break the link, right? So I'm gonna break all links. So this one here now is broken by itself. It does not matter which data point I select here. It will not be selected in this visualization because I broke it. Now what I'll do, I also take this here, and I'm all gonna break this link too, but instead, right now, instead of doing this, right? Now I edit it as a third group. I want to do this. I want to edit to the second one. See this? So I have two groups right now. Right now I have two groups on the top. I'm gonna unlink this. Look, now I select in here Missouri, and the selection only applies this table here. On the bottom, I can select Iowa perhaps, right? So those numbers are for Iowa, and these numbers are for Missouri. So sometimes I want to perhaps compare one state, right? I want to compare all the numbers per state. So I had to split the links. These are two groups. The first two connected and the last two connected, right? So this is what I did here because I wanted to compare one state, right, with another state. Because usually when you select the data point, the same data point will be selected in all visualizations on the same tab, right? But I can break the link, if you will, okay? So now what I could do is I change my mind. I can do this here, and I'm gonna do create to the first, add this to the first one, right? Now I do the same thing here, and you have to add this to the first. So now I have one group again, okay? Okay, so this, I just showed you how to group visualizations on the same tab. So by default, all visualizations on the same tab are linked if they use the same data as a source. If you use a different source to create the visualizations, then no, okay? Because you may use more than one data source for the same dashboard, okay? Now let's save. Now we've got the second tab, and the second tab right now I'm showing the driver analysis, right? And I could add, I could keep on adding more visualizations, right? So see this, I have 2 by 2, but I don't have to keep 2 by 2. But let's actually add more because I wanted to do the demonstration on filters, right? So let's do this. Let's see, we have some of the pins, and I can reuse the visualizations that I created earlier. Is that? I just do drag and drop, right? So pin is nothing but a bookmark. So basically it's like a favorite, okay? And I can just go in and copy this, right? And I can do more, copy this one too, right? So I copied this. And you have the total claim amount here, and you've got the different policy type in this case. And if you look here, you also have different policy type, right? So now let's see what's gonna happen when we start applying the filters. First of all, you know that we could filter individual visualization, right? But you can also apply filters to the whole tab. So first of all, let's unfilter this. Okay, I unfiltered this. Now, to apply the filter to the whole tab, this is what you would need to do. You go in here, and you would need to find what you want to filter it by. Like perhaps I want to do the coverage type, right? So this is, I need to find this. So this is a total claim amount by coverage. I need to find my column that's called coverage, right? I want to filter it by coverage, and I want to filter all tabs. So I drag and drop this coverage. Jesus, I drag and drop to where it says all tab, and suppose that I want to see only extended. I click OK. Now what happened? All my visualizations got adjusted. It shows only extended, right? Same thing here. You cannot see it, but the visualization got adjusted to show only extended. And same here, also you cannot see it. Now I'm gonna go to another tab. Well, and it's gonna be the same thing here. It's probably harder to see, but trust me, it's adjusted here too. Okay, because if I apply the filter to all tabs, see this, I can see it here because I applied it to all tabs. If I apply it only to the single tab, then it will show here on the right. I did not, right? So what I could do is I can delete this filter. And what I could do here now is I can put, perhaps I can do policy type. I'm gonna go to my columns and I'm gonna do like, well, this is a group. I want to find the policy type. If I don't see it, I can just type here. Okay, here it is, policy type. I'm going to filter it here and I want to do only corporate. Take a look, it gets adjusted. Everything on this tab got adjusted, but when I go back to my tab 1, nope, it did not get adjusted. See this? Well, it won't be adjusted, but to see that, I could actually do this. Look, I can click on this visualization and I can change. I take it in the focus mode, and instead of visualizing the state, I can add the policy type, right? Well, see this, right? I can change. If I wanted to, I can change the column. See this? But wait a minute, didn't I just select that I want to see only corporate? Why do I see the other two? Well, it's because when I applied my filter here, I applied it only to this tab. I did not apply the policy filter to the fourth tab, right? I only applied it to one tab. So this is why it's not filtered here, okay? So basically, just remember this. You can filter all visualizations on the same tab, right? Or you can filter all visualizations. You can filter all visualizations. This is a global filter. Or you can just select the data point, specific data point in a single visualization. And then what that will do is it will select the single data point in all visualizations on this tab that are linked, right? Linked means if I click here, they belong to the same visualizations group, and the same data was used to build these visualizations. Okay, now I have to save this. So that was about the filters, right? This is visualization properties. We talked about filters. Now you can also add text and widgets to your dashboards. Here I can add another tab perhaps. And I have a video where I show the details on how to add the text and the widgets. Like for example, here, this is a text. I can type something like, I love data 610, right? So this is just the text. Right? Well, and for the text, I have different properties like a font, bold, and this is alignment and the color, etc. I can edit this in this toolbar, or I can also click here properties and also different text properties. For the image, keep in mind that you cannot add you cannot copy paste the image directly. You have to add the image URL, and you also add the video URL, right? You cannot copy and paste the image straight. You have to add the web location where image is, right? And I created the video with details on properties, open image, and etc. Right? So here I just put an example for you. You have to put the URL, okay? And doing so will add an image. You don't copy and paste the file directly, okay? Just remember that. Now, I demonstrated the visualizations are linked, right? Okay, now what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna look at the stories. But before we do that, so let's close this one. Okay, close this. I don't want to save it. But for you, I prepared a different example of the dashboard that I'm gonna use now to create a story. And I call this car insurance claims dashboard. And this dashboard has multiple tabs. I intentionally called tab as thin, and you'll see why. But well, see here, first tab, I have text and I have an image, right? Right now, take a look at it. I'm clicking and I'm trying to see the properties and I cannot. Anybody knows why? Because what happens? My dashboard is in view mode. I have to click on here to go to the edit mode, right? So here, if you see these properties of this image, this is the URL, right? An optional description. So that's how I edit this image. So this is the first, well, it's a first tab, but I intentionally called it scene one. And this is the second. Uh-oh. Well, let's see what we'll figure out what happened. But anyways, it was, I swear, it was working. It was working a while ago. So now what this error actually says is that it's not finding the data set that I used to create this visualization. That's what it's telling me. Let's close this and let's make sure that I'm actually opening the right file. It's not going to be in recent, but I swear, guys. See, sometimes it's going to happen. Sometimes it's in my content and this is demo, right? And I created the claims and weather dashboard. So this is a dashboard that I just created when we did, oops, my content. See, this is where I saved, right? I have this claims and weather dashboard that I just created, right? And I have this data exploration, okay? This is just, 1 second. Okay, so it could be this one. Let's see, car insurance claims dashboard. So see this, I've got the, oh. Okay, now guys, let me explain to you what happened. If you accidentally, if you're not careful, and if you delete the data set that you used to build the dashboard, not sure however that happened, what will happen is that it cannot be repaired. This is it. There is nothing you can do to fix it. So please, 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 please be careful when you do this, okay? Be careful when you do this. Okay, do I have the question? You believe me. Okay, no problem, Kevin. I appreciate that. So, okay, no. I'm gonna find the dashboard to, okay. Oh. Okay, so basically what I wanted to do is this. I created a dashboard for you, and then from the dashboard, we are going to create we're going to create a story. Okay, so let's do this. I just created this, right? I just created this. Okay, let me do this. Let me rename the tab one as a scene one. Okay, so now I need to be in the edit mode. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to do edit, and I'm going to name it as intentionally. I'm going to put scene 1, okay? Okay, now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to name it as scene 2. This is intentional, okay? Okay, here it is. I name it intentional in this scene 2. Now I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to name it as a scene 3, okay? And I'll show you why I'm doing it. So I have 3 scenes here, right? Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. And let's just add something here because we don't want this to be empty, right? So let's just go in pins and let's just add. Huh? See this? Well, you know, you're gonna find that sometimes things have a bad day. Let's delete this. Because I do remember that I did not delete the data module. So who knows what's going on. Okay, there we go, that works, right? So now I'm gonna save that, right? Now let's do this. I swear that I did not delete. So sometimes you're gonna see what just happened to me, right? Okay, there we go. I just added something. So now you know that my dashboard has 3 tabs, right? This is a step that you're gonna take. Next step is a step that you're gonna take when you're completely sure, when you're positive, you're completely sure that you are ready to create the story. You're totally done with your dashboard. Suppose this, right? The next step you're going to take when you know that you're totally done, because any change that you make after this to your dashboard won't be applicable to the story. But I'll show you how to create your story straight from this dashboard, right? You're going to export your dashboard into a story. But first of all, what is a story? What is missing here? Here I've got 3 tabs, right? But is there a way to add animation? Am I able to specify when things appear, disappear? Am I able to specify the transitions between tabs and for how many seconds does the user see each tab? I cannot do it in here, right? So I have to have some other solution if this is what I want to do. So look at this. You have this option here, save as a story. And here I spelled out for you the different story templates. But first of all, here I explained that, well, what is a story? It's an overtime narrative, right? So you can, it's also a way to present insights, but you can add sort of like, you can specify when things appear, when things disappear. You can configure how long the visualization is visible, and you can add sort of like animation side effect, if you will. Okay, so and you can also use the transition style, and to create a story, you save you must start it from the beginning, right? Create new story, or you may also export your dashboard into the story. Okay, so now here I spelled out the differences between the transition. The slideshow where each scene has a different canvas, right? And in the guided journey is when you have all scenes on the same canvas, and you will see the difference. And for it does not matter whether each one you choose, you specify when objects appear, disappear. You may specify the duration. You may apply filters, add animations, and etc. All right. And by the way, if you look at this here, this is a screenshot of the guided journey. This is a screenshot of guided journey. And you have, here you have 4 scenes, right? 1, right? So in the dashboard, you have a tabs, but here you have a scenes. And when you export your dashboard as a story, each tab in your dashboard will become a scene in the story, okay? So let's do this. Let's do this one for right now. I'm gonna do select. Now I want to save it on my content. And let's call it a story claims and weather dash, okay? Now what I'll do is I'm gonna do this save here. Save, right? Let's see. Okay, there we go. What happened now? Take a look at this. Well, I intentionally named my tab scene 1 because each tab is now a scene, right? I could name it whatever I want, but I did it intentionally. So this was my first tab, this was my second tab, and this is a third tab, okay? This was a dashboard that I just looked at, and I have 3 tabs, right? This is somewhat similar to what we've done before with the dashboard. You can do the same thing with the story. You can apply filter for all scenes. You can apply filter only to this scene. Then note that if I select one data, if I select one data point, right, the same data point will be selected to all visualizations on the same on the same tab, right? Oh, this is a state in this case. Or if I select this user's claim reason, I'm selecting the same data point in here. This is not filtering, but this is just basically if I select the data point, right? The same data point will be selected on all visualizations in the same scene, if you will. All linked visualizations, remember? This is a linking, the same applies here, right? Here, this is how you open and close this panel. Okay, so, and now I want to unfilter it, right, at the same way that you did. You can apply the filter to all scene and one scene. Now here, if you click here, you're gonna see your, this is the same data modules that were used to build the dashboard, right? Because see, we used the dashboard we exported the dashboard into the story, right? So this is the data that we use to build the dashboard. The story inherits this data set, right? Because we exported the dashboard into story. The export means also the link to the data source, right? So it's here, right? Now, what else is here? Here you also see this is a selectable filter. You see all of the calculation. The icon tells the column data type, right? Everything, the whole idea is the same, but different. This is something that you did not see before. So here are the scenes, right? And on each scene, I can specify when things appear, disappear. Each scene has something called the timeline. So when I click here, I'm opening the scene timeline. Each object on the scene is represented as a little bar, okay? By default, the scene length is 5 seconds. This is a default, but you can change it. You can change, like for example, see here, this is a pie chart, vehicle class pie chart, the first one. What I could do is, see, when I take this edge and I drag this, right, it tells, see here, this is the point in time when I want to see this one guy. Now let's work on next one. And I can drag and drop like this, right? I can drag and drop this. So this tells me when I place this thing, when exactly I want to see this guy, okay? And same thing for the rest of this, right? I can specify when things appear, disappear. And to make this more than 5 seconds long, I just take this and I just drag this end here. That is it, right? I don't need to write any R or any Python code here. I just do drag and drop, right? And then here, I return back to the slides, to the scenes. Okay, and if I needed to, I could add another scene if I needed to, and then I can add to it, right? And also each scene has a bunch of, I can select different layout if I need to, right? When I add scene, so here, see, there is an option to add a layout. To choose a layout, I could do that also, right? Now I realize that I added something that I don't need. There is an option to, this is a delete, okay? Now, so here I've got the three things. Also what I could do is, well, here I can just do, I can select play all scenes. Now I'm gonna go back to my scene one. I can go back from edit mode to preview mode, right? Now, why don't I see this first one? It's because I set it up not to show when the scene starts playing, right? I specify exactly the time when I want to see it. So like, for example, look, when I click on play, see what's gonna happen. See the timer? It showed up, see? When did it show up and when did it disappear? Exactly as I specified. So here, this is just next thing, okay? So I've got three scenes and this is how I preview. I specify the timeline when I want to see each scene, when I want to see each object and when I don't want to see, and you can adjust how long your scene, the scene duration, okay? So this is what you can do. Let's save this and let's go back to the slides because sometimes I explain things in a slightly different order. Okay, well, this is just shows the interface, right? I just spelled out what it can be, and you can test one scene at a time. If you're in edit mode, you'll be testing one scene at a time, but I just showed you all of them, right? I showed you what a scene timeline is, right? So it's just nice and easy drag and drop. And this is the steps how to, what I did to save the dashboard as a story. And I basically put this side by side for you just to explain. So here is a dashboard. You've got two tabs, and this is how each tab is going to convert to the scene. But one thing to remember is that when you go back to your dashboard and continue making changes, the changes will not be shown on your story. They will not be shown anymore because once you export it, this is it. They're not synchronized, if you will. Okay. Now we're gonna get to this, but one thing is I showed you how to save it, right? Yes, I did. And I showed you that you also have edit mode and view mode. You also have this undo redo buttons. Oh, and also the story has the properties, right? So if you click on the properties, you can change, like here, this is now in a slideshow, but I can change it to the guided journey. And if I'm in a guided journey, I can change the layout, right? So let's see what's gonna happen now. And if I was going to do so, basically, look, the first one here, slide, is gonna show, the first one is just gonna show you scene 1, 2, and 3, right? This is a scene itself, right? And this is just this when you preview it. Well, here it just shows you. Well, in this case, I have three scenes, but it would be better. I have a better example. Oops. Okay, so let's go back to the welcome page. This is what happened here. So I'm gonna go to my content, and I'm gonna do to the. I have a folder. This is a folder called demo. And this is a story, car insurance dashboard. This story should be working. So my intent was to show you how to save this dashboard from the story, and this dashboard has it has 5 scenes, 6 or 5. So look, when I go back to the edit mode, so see this? Those are the different. I have 6 scenes, and the 6th scene does not have anything in it. So right now, the structure is, this is probably set as a slideshow. I can go in here, oops, I can go in here, this is the properties, and I can change from my slideshow to guided journey, and I select this one here. Well, take a look at this. The first one, this is just a cover sheet, right? It shows me, the first one, it just shows me that I have 6 scenes. That's what it is, right? The first one, here it's like a cover. It shows me, it's overview, so to speak. It shows me that I have 6 scenes. Here, I have a separate one for each scene. And this is the last one. The last one basically shows that I have 6 scenes, right? So, well, that's basically it is. But when you take a screenshot for assignment, you probably want to minimize this, right? You minimize this, and you probably want to play around with the zoom in here. You want to play around with the zoom in here. And it also depends on how many scenes you have, but you want to show something like this. In your submission, this is how you're gonna show that you have a story. So probably you're gonna meet this is empty one, right? But you probably want to take a screenshot of this whole area. This is how you do it. Some of you have been asking how to submit a screenshot of the story. You probably want to take this part over here, okay? Because see this, when you have a guided journey layout, the nice thing about the guided journey is that the first scene in here, it shows you, well, let me zoom out. So see this, if you look at this, so you select the last scene, and it will show you here preview of all of your scenes. You select either the first, and you may select either the first one. Here, you may select either the first one or the last one here. And it will show you the preview of how your scenes look like. See this? So this is, you're gonna need to take a screenshot of this, but you will have to play around to make sure that it's readable. You may need to adjust the zoom, etc. Right? So this is how you show, because in your submission, you have to show somehow that you created the story, right? So for assignment 4, the screenshot will suffice, but you also need to explain what type of story you used, if you used the guided journey, and what layout you used, and explain some settings. Like I was showing you earlier, when things are visible, when things are not visible, right? And you control the transitions. Well, because if I play this, right, what am I doing to transition between slides? So see this now, it's gonna show a different scene, right? What did I specify? Oh, I need to make sure. So I have it set to play all scenes, but the problem is I also should be in a view mode, right? I should not be in the edit mode. Now, this is when I play this, what exactly am I doing? How am I changing it to the next one? See what it's doing? This is one way. You saw how the transition just happened. There are multiple ways to specify the transition. So see this? This is an option that is selected. But if I go back to the edit mode, if I select properties, right, I have multiple. Oops. Oh, that's not what I want. I want to select the properties of the story. So this is a story properties scenes, and well, there are also different types of layout, and there are also different types of the transitions. Now I need to adjust the zoom back. See, so sometimes as you work on this, you would need to play around with the zoom, right? And So see that this is basically show all scenes at the start. You want to make sure that this is checked, right? Because when you click on the first one here, you're gonna see all scenes, and you have to take a screenshot of that. Okay. So then you've got the advanced in here. You have a lot of properties here to play around, and I'm gonna leave it to you as a well, I call it a homework. So basically, you can explore it at your leisure. But for this, there is also a transition type that you may specify. Well, for some unknown reason, you know. Okay, so, and this is just the theme of how things looks like, right? So this is advanced, and oops, I swear it was here. Okay, so you select the layout. This is a guided journey, right? And this is where you want to see all things at the top. I want that, right? So here you want to play all things, right? Okay. So if I it might be on the slide, but anyway, it's also I also discuss it in a great details. I show more details for this in a video. Okay. So this is one layout. I can select this layout if I want to, etc. Well, what you do for your assignment, I'm gonna let you decide. Okay, it's going to be your choice. Okay, but here you've got more properties to study on your own. Okay, etc. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about interesting topic. But first, before we do that, let me show you what I was talking about, the creating the dashboard from scratch, creating the story from scratch. So let's close this out. I'm going to close all of this. Okay, so here, right now I'm on my welcome page. I can do this new story. Then I select what I want, the story types that I want, right? Like, for example, I want this guided journey. I click create. Okay. Now what I want to do is I have to specify the data source, select source, and then I'm gonna go to the my content, and I want to select the data module. I'm gonna do add, and then I can do it from scratch. Keep on adding visualizations and etc. Right? And remember, it's the same. I can just add new visualizations. From here, I can use assistant, I can use my bookmarks, etc. Right? But I find it harder. I find it easier to design the dashboard first and then export dashboard as a story and add the transitions and the edit timeline, etc. Okay, but it's a matter of your choice. Okay, it's a matter of your choice, and you also have this properties in here, right? Yeah. So then you want to do play all scenes. This is when you preview. You want to see when you preview, right? You want to play all scenes basically. That's what it's doing. Okay. Now let's see what happens if I select this, right? Yeah, the same properties. Okay, but oh, I see. If I select this is a guided journey. If I select the slideshow, this is where I can specify the transition. See this? This is what it is. Only when I select the slideshow, then I can specify if I want to do the animated parse or sweep. This option is available only for the slideshow. Got it. This was I was missing before. Okay. So this is a scene transition, animated pass or sweep. This is available only if you select the slideshow. Okay, so that's what it is. So let me not save it. Let me close this out. There is a very important topic that I still need to cover, and we'll get to it soon. Let's close this. Okay, close without saving. Now, first of all, let's go back to the welcome page. This is a welcome page, right? You have few things in here. We have not worked with team content much, but in your samples, you have some of the dashboards that you may look at. Now, this is not something that you're going to submit to your instructor for grading, but this is just something for you to look at. If you don't have an idea on what you can do for your data, you may just get some ideas just by checking it, just by checking samples. The goal is just to look at it, right? You won't be able to modify it. You're just able to preview it, that's all. And there are also some sample stories, right? But the part that I'm trying to get to now is that it's gonna happen at the end of week 9 sometime. You're gonna be placed in a team. Usually it's 3 to 5 students, it depends on the instructor. But this is what's gonna happen. At some point, at the end of the week 9, you're gonna see your team assignment, and I'm going to create the group folders in Cognos, and your group membership in Cognos will match the group membership in Leo. So you will see an announcement when your team folder is set up. But this is what you're gonna do. I would recommend that each of your teams picks a team leader, right? And what the team leader will do is this. You have in the team content, you see this. See this, you have a separate folder for the data set. See this is data 610, data for assignments. And here are the data set choices for assignment 5. So your team leader will, all of you will work with the team leader, and you decide which data set of this you want to use for assignment 5. Then the team leader will save a copy of this data set into your team folder. But let me explain what a team folder is. Somewhere at the end of week 9 or beginning of week 10, you'll be notified that your team folder is created. So what's going to happen is this. In your team content, you're going to see this folder, assignment 5 group work. This is a folder that will appear in the team content. You're going to click on this, right? Now, you remember that you are now enrolled in a fall semester, right? You're going to see this folder, and the folder name is going to be the semester. Your current semester is fall 2021. You're going to click on this, and you're going to see this is wrong. This is wrong. What you're going to see is you should see only the folders that you're a member of, right? This is wrong. If you see this, team, look, let's just make an assumption. Let's assume that I am a member. Let's assume that I was assigned to the team 1, okay? I was assigned, I'm taking session 9040, and I was assigned to work on the team 1, right? So you're gonna click in here, you're expected to see only this folder because you're a member of session 9040 team 1. Suppose that Yelena, which is me, messed up, right? If you see something like this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna submit the Salesforce case, because what you will see is you should see only the folder for your team, right? So this is a folder for your team. You're gonna look at the session, and if you log into Leo, your session name, you will see it at the very top, right? At the very top, you're gonna see your session name. So this is your session, and you're a member of team 1. You should see only this. And this is a folder where you're going to be saving your work, okay? You should not see the folders for the sessions that you're not enrolled in. You should only see the folder that is designated for your team, right? You know that you're in a team 1 in Leo. You know your session, right? All of this, if you see it, the folders that you're not supposed to see, you're going to submit the Salesforce case. But let's ignore this for right now. So this is a team content, right? So once your team member knows, your team member, your other team, you decided which data set you want to use, right? So here it is. This is a assignment 5 data sets. Suppose that you want to use cars. Your team leader needs to help you. They need to do this. Look, you're gonna do this here, and you're gonna do. You won't be able to create the data module from here because right now it's on a shared. It's on a course shared folder, right? This is a folder that everyone can access. So what you will need to do is this. You have to do copy or move. Copy, right? You have to copy. Now what you'll do is you're gonna go to this team content. You're gonna go to this assignment 5 group work this semester and your team folder, right? And you're gonna do this copy to. Now, if you are unable to copy to, then Yelena may stop you the folder permissions. You should be able to submit the Salesforce case and I will look into it, okay? But, and again, so to access your folder is gonna be in the team content, right? And you're gonna see a Family 5 group work this semester and this one, right? You only see the team that you are assigned to. You should not be seeing the folders that were assigned that belong to other course. That you should not be seeing the folders for other teams, if you will, right? You should not be seeing the folder for somebody who's taken a course in a different session, right? So this what you saw right now, Elena messed up the setup, but that's okay, no worries. So just assume this is, you don't see this, you see this, right? This is what you will see. But it's good that you saw this is what you're not supposed to see. If you see this, you're gonna submit the Salesforce case because you're only supposed to see this, okay? And I created a video on how to save work to your team folder, but well, the video was created in a sprint, but well, the same concept applies, right? You enrolled in a fall semester, the folder name is gonna be what? Fall, right? And you're gonna see only subfolder for your team, right? So now, what I did was, I'm a team, so I know that just by setup that I have two people, I have two members of the FOIL team 1. I have two demo users who were added as the members. Don't worry, this is a screenshot of an admin part, but I took a screenshot just to show you that I have two students, demo students, that are assigned to the team 1, right? And they have the same folder. So now, if I was going to log out, right, and log in as the other guy, so here it is, right? If I log out, and if I log in as another demo user, right, we belong to the same group. I should be able to see exactly the same folder that the other one does, right? I'm gonna do this. Right, so if I belong to the same team, I'm gonna have the same permissions as my teammate. So now you're gonna see the folders that you're not supposed to see, I know it. Okay, fall, and this is a folder for your team, and I see those files that my teammate just saved, okay? So this is what it is. Then, if you are a team leader, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna do create a data module. I want the team leader to do it because, well, it's better this way, right? And then you're gonna use the same data module. You're gonna do this, you're gonna save this, and you're gonna save it as here. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna save it. I want to save it in the same folder, right? So I want to be in the team content, assignment 5, group work, all, and this is my folder, okay? And I'm gonna call it cars data module, okay? Okay, this is what we'll do, and we're just gonna do save, okay? Well, that's it. I created the data module, I save it. And then when my teammate logs in, the teammate is supposed to see that too. Now, what I would recommend you to do is you want to work from the data module that is saved in your team folder, okay? Because if I use the data module that I saved on my folder, right, on my content, and then if I upload the visualization to the team folder, my teammate won't be able to open, my teammate will not be able to open the file, okay? My teammate won't be able to open visualizations because the visualization is pointing to the data that I saved on my content, but my teammate cannot access my content. So this is really tricky, okay? And also another thing, please make sure that you don't delete anything. Well, before you delete something, be careful and think twice, because what you will see is exactly what I showed you today, okay? You will see exactly what I showed you today. Sometimes you can fix it, sometimes you cannot, it depends. But most of the time you cannot, okay? If you delete something, there is a dependency. You have a data set, cars data. Here I have cars data module. If I delete cars data set, my data module will be invalid, okay? So you should be really careful. And I mean, it's not just me, but sometimes we had a semester, it's a sad story when we had a team and one of the teammates deleted something. It happened on the day when assignment was due. It was big ouch. Good news are that the teammates were smart and they saved copies of what they could to their my content folder. They saved some backups, and also the team saved all the screenshots. So that helped, yeah. Okay, so you want to be really careful, think twice before you delete, because even if you import the data with the same name, it's different. Did you see the error message earlier? It was referencing to the data set with some number, because each data set here has a unique number, right? You saw the error earlier. Anyway, so you want to be very careful when you work, because when you delete something, that's it, it's gone, right? So here I just spell out the steps to do that, okay? This is just a step, and this is gonna be you, because if you delete, it's gonna be ouch. Where is it? Where is it? You cannot undo it, right? So see this, I save this, and now I'm gonna sign out and I'm gonna go back in as the other user, okay? And I'll show you that it's there. Okay, so this is my other user. I'm going to the team content, and this is the right folder. And see this is a data module. This is what my teammate did. I should see it, okay? Well, and you have a write permission into your folder, because otherwise, if you see your folder, but if you are not able to save the file into your folder, you need to create the Salesforce tickets, and I'm gonna check. Abel TA for the course is gonna notify me, and I'm gonna check the settings, okay? Because you should see only the folder for your team, and you should have a right access. But earlier today, do you remember what happened when I tried to open the dashboard? So I have this claims cars, this one, car insurance dashboard. What happened when I tried to open it today? Well, this is my fault. I was not careful somewhere. Do you see this? This is saying that this data set is not available. See that? It's because I may have either deleted or moved the data set that I used to create all of these visualizations. I could, if I'm lucky, I could try to do this, but it may not work. Let me see. Maybe if I'm lucky, I could go here. Oh, and I was like, what's wrong? Don't I see this data here? Well, we don't know what actually happened, but you need to be careful, okay? Well, what I could try to do is, well, here there is nothing you can really do. Not sure. See, so you have to be careful when you delete something. Just please be careful. Well, see this, sometimes it's unpredictable. So if you ever see this, please remember that Elena warned you about this, okay? Elena warned you. Well, it's highly possible that it was using more than one data set. It's possible too, okay? But Jesus, you can do relink, you can try it. If you try to do relink, sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. So I can try doing this. Jesus, I can go to it in my content, right? And this is a claims and weather data module. I can try to use this one. And let's see what happens. If it's gonna fix my issues. Nope, Jesus, you cannot do this. Well, Jesus, unfortunately, you can try it, but I mean, my 2 words of advice are what? Good luck, right? Jesus, once the data set is corrupted, that's it. There's nothing you can do. I'm just showing you that you cannot fix it. Well, so promise me and promise yourself that you're gonna be very careful, because once the data is gone, it's gone. See, you can't. And I could even try this. Look, I can try to remove, and then I can try to select data source, and I can go to the here. Well, I'm gonna try, but there's no guarantee. See, nope, you can't. Once it's gone, it's gone. See, I can't. Even if I try to do the different data source, right? If I try to use a data set with the same name, I still cannot restore my visualizations, okay? So I want you to keep this in mind, okay? See, there is nothing I can do. And this is pointing to the data set, right? This is a data set ID that it's trying to point to, and it's no longer there. Nope. Well, if you relink it, you can do whatever you want to, but it won't do it, okay? Well, just make sure that you remember this, okay? And let's close this without saving. Well, if you look at this data module, I believe you can find the property here if you're lucky. This is my content. Well, here you can try. You can see this. Well, this is a data module. You can see the properties. Oops. Here, let's see if it has. Nope. Oh well. Oh, here it is. Do you see this is an ID? Well, this is a data module ID. And remember the error message was mentioned in the ID? This is not the same ID as the one that was mentioned in the error message, right? So whenever you delete something, it's gone. There is nothing you can do. You saw it, right? So, well, since you saw it, you're now aware of what's going on, right? And you're less likely to do it on your assignment, right? So, I mean, I don't know how it happened, but whatever happened, happened. And well, you saw it happen. It's good that you saw it happen, because then you're not gonna make this error when you work on your assignment. And another thing, well, that could happen, and I wanted to show you something because I made that mistake. I'll make sure you don't make this mistake. See here, when you click here, there is a difference, remove from recent and delete. If you select delete, it's gonna delete the whole object. If you remove from recent, it's just gonna remove it from recent, but object won't stay. Object will still stay in your content or wherever it is stored, okay? So remember this, do not select delete, select remove from recent instead. I selected delete for something that I did, and unfortunately, I lost some of my work, okay? So, well, you want to be careful is what you do, okay? So you promise me that you will be careful, okay? So see that this is a recent, right? I can do this, I can remove it from recent, but removing it from recent doesn't delete it, right? If I have to get it, it's still here. right? Well, so you have to be just watch what you do, okay? Before you delete something, you want to think about it, because you saw what happened to me, right? So if Yelena did it, and Yelena has years of experience, then you could do that too, right? And this is an error. Well, this happens if the file that you had open recently was deleted, but it did not get removed from recent. Sometimes you will see this. This is an error that you will sometimes see if the file was deleted, but it's still sitting in your recents. So you just click OK and that's it, right? Yeah. So remember this, please remember the dependencies. If you delete the data set, all data modules invalid, where the data set is used, right? Then all explorations where you use the data module become invalid, all of the bookmarks become invalid, and etc. Okay? You're gonna be thinking twice before you make one deletion, right? Oh, and here, this is an advanced example. This is basically how to do the calculation. And I believe I recorded the video on case statements, okay? So this is more advanced, and this is where you write in your code, right? For the most part, you're not writing code, but if you want something more advanced calculation, that you will be writing a little bit of code, okay? So guys, are there any questions? I covered a lot of concepts, and well, you will need to watch this video more than once, but please remember not to delete, okay? So that's one of the big lessons. Don't delete. Or you might want to create something like a folder called trash, and before you delete something, just throw it in that folder, okay? Because deletions cannot be undone, that's it, you want to be extra careful. Okay, so are there any questions? People ask questions, I like questions. So you clear what's going to happen on assignment 4. It's continuation of 3. You use same data set as you used for 3. 5 will be group work, and you will also be asked to do the video. Yes. So 5 has 2 deliverables. One deliverable is a video, and another deliverable is a paper. And the instructions on how to do the video will be in the classroom. I'm going to give this recording to your professor, and I'm going to give the slides to your professor. Okay? So people, please questions. And let me see the chat. Can I use different data sources? Yes, you can use 2 data sources for the same story. Absolutely. Oh, but for the assignment, you mean if you can use different data source for the assignment, right? Is it what you're asking? You're asking if you can use the data. Oh, okay, then you need an approval from instructor. Because if you, well, first of all, we need to make sure that the data is suitable, okay? Well, for assignment 4, you have to use the same as you use as 3. But if it's a teamwork, you have to have approval from instructor. And when instructor approves it, it has to go through me. I should be the one who uploads it for you. I should be the one who uploads it to your team, because you don't have a privileges to upload the data. Well, it has to do with the configuration of the VDA, okay? Because you cannot save files on the VDA, but in order to upload the data, first, number one, you have to have permission to save files on the VDA, okay? You don't. So I'm the one who has to do it for you. And you need to have approval, because we need to make sure that the data is suitable. See, so this is very, it's not a straightforward process. But once you if your instructor approves, then I'll take care, I'll upload it to your team folder. But for assignment 4, you have to use the same data set that you used for assignment 3. Okay, no problem, yes. Yeah, but there are some limitations that we need to deal with, so to speak. And some of them are for good reason, because, well, all data pre-processing needs to be done in Cognos. Well, some in the past semester, when we could save files, a student tried to make change in Excel and upload. But the problem is when you re-upload the data set, you have to redo the rest of the work from scratch. You saw it, right? You could not just simply relink the data file. You just couldn't relink the data source. You saw it. I tried it a few times today. That's it. When you re-upload the file, you sort of like deleting the old file. Each time when if you upload the data set again, you having a file with a different ID. I mean, you saw what was going on today. I could not repair. I would have to create brand new dashboard. Okay, I would have to create a brand new dashboard for my next demo when I'm gonna be doing it in a session 1980, 1981, the session 2. I would have to create a new one. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So, you know, I showed you what happened, and you promised me you're not gonna make the same mistake, okay? Things happen. If I did it, there is no chance that no one else could do it. Not sure. I'll figure it out afterwards, but make sure that you think twice before you delete something. Okay? Questions? Folks, please ask questions. It's a good opportunity. Okay? But in general, how is it going so far? I mean, hopefully you enjoy using application, right? Hopefully. But again, sometimes you need to watch the video or this presentation more than once to get a better understanding. Okay? Any questions? If there are no questions, that I'm gonna end the session, and then I'm going to send the recording and the slides to your professor, and also you will hear from your instructor when the groups are set up for assignment 5, but it's not going to be in for another couple of weeks. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording then. If there are no more questions, let me see the chat. Oh, reading the material like user guide. Or what was that? Oh, well, reading the material. Well, yeah, but you need to practice. Yes, of course. Well, yeah, there is a user guide. There is a guide in the classroom, but yes, a lot of the stuff that I learned is from doing. I just learned this by doing. But you also have a wonderful TA, Abel. So when you submit the ticket, Salesforce ticket, he will work with you, and also he will pull me in if necessary. And sometimes if it's a good question on how to do something, then I will create a video and upload it for everyone. This is how we actually started creating the playlist. The student had a question on how to do something. I created a video and I said, okay, let me share with the rest of the students. So if there is anything that you would like to know how to do, if it's possible, just pass it along and I'll create a video. I'll see what I can do. See, I'm there to work with you too. But if I don't hear any feedback, then I assume everything is okay. So, you know, not a problem, not a problem, not a problem. Okay, so if this is all, then okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your semester, okay?